Thank you very much, Dash. I'm so excited to get into this game as well. Of course, it is a general trend with just Atlas as usual, but EDG versus the Bangkok Titans.
Yeah.
Two teams that are known to definitely butt horns quite a lot, and I'm excited to see whether Moss is going to get that thresh and whether this EDG lineup is going to give Garen to Amazing J.
Oh, that's true, actually.
I just want to see it again.
I mean, the thing is, this is a game where I feel like Edward Gaming may try to style a little bit here. They certainly have to win. There is still, of course, the chance that they get upset, they lose a game to H2K, and they drop out of Worlds. That's a slim possibility. But the thing is, I mean, this is the rematch of the fastest game we've had at Worlds so far. This was a 20-minute surrender when they met last week.
Yeah.
So whether Edward Gaming wants to beat their own record, BKT gets enraged and like gets overpowered, but it's going to be a game.
Traditionally, when EDG faces off against much weaker teams, especially like wildcard teams, for example, they do something different than other top-tier teams do. Instead of like slowly dismantling them, they just go ham, outplay them everywhere.
Yeah.
I would like to see EDG actually go for the other approach, which is slowly dismantling them, because that is what something they will need against H2K later on, and especially that was something they lost the game off against SKT. They did the wrong map moves. EDG can do likely anything and they can still come back from the game, but I would like to see them to play a solid early game, smart jungle pathing from Kilov, communication as to where he's going to end up, play around your strong lanes, snowball them, and take that approach rather than the style 1v1 outplays, you know, fancy kills, highlight reels, and the likes.
I think that's actually really important as well, because Clearlove did struggle against SKT, looked like he didn't quite know where to be on the map, and we know that 007X for the Bangkok Titans is definitely a barometer for this team, a guy that really is able to get things going on. But we've got all of the bans through, guys. Kalista, Twisted Fate, and Rek'Sai removed by the Bangkok Titans, and Mordekaiser Gangplank, pretty standard, you could have to say.
Yep.
On the red side, and Elise being taken away as well.
So the champions we're looking at right here are Lulu, of course, which we saw Warlock play just last game.
Darius is up as well.
And Darius, exactly. Those are the two that you really kind of are looking at here. Amazing J could get his fourth Darius game in 5 games at Worlds, because I feel like BKT would be happy to play Lulu again, because I think it fits Warlock quite well.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Lulu locked in one more time. Theoretically, the Bangkok Titans could just go for exactly the same team comp all over again. We'll see whether EDG have anything to say about it. Well, of course, it's a fantastic comp. Just didn't necessarily play it all that well. That being said, we now have a different top lane matchup, you have to say. And if Amazing J plays similarly to how he played against Maren, we may see that, you know, Warlock may have a better time up there.
Interesting that they don't opt to pick up Kalista early here. Oh, no, she's actually banned. Never mind. I'm blind. So they would have been picked up here. And this is something we saw a lot on 5.14, especially from EDG too. Just early Braum, early Gragas, don't give much away. Rek'Sai's out, so Release is out too. So you have a top tier, in air quotes, jungler. You have a solid support that fits into a lot of compositions, and you already have like your teamfight tank part down, so you can pick whatever you want next to it.
Well, G4 hovering the Fiora here. He's done it quite a bit.
It's the second G Fiora hover we've seen right now.
The G Fiora.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Now, 007X, right now, they are 0-4. See if that can improve at some point soon. Bangkok Titans hoping to turn things around. The Gragas did get stolen away, though. Edward Gaming actually removing some of the tools that were used last game. I know Midfior is actually quite strong. It's a champion that I don't think you'd want to blind pick, and with the low priority on playing this champion, you don't have to pick it early on either. BKT actually might change things around and play instead around Lloyd.
That's interesting.
That's how BKT. It's how BKT played before G4 joined the lineup here. So if they can make Jugger Jinx, this could be a good comp in the end.
I mean, you can even make Jugger Darius. A lot of his weaknesses get solved by a Lulu composition. Just speeding him up, getting to the target is the hardest part of playing Darius overall. Blowing them up is easy once you get close. So Lulu can get you close, can get you a knockup, can make you even tankier overall. And that in itself can be enough peel to free up space for Lloyd to operate within. Then EDG obviously have a couple of counter picks lined up because they already know where the solos are going to go, unless this is a Lulu support flex pick. But we have yet to see that at Worlds.
Well, Pawn is going to lock away the Yasuo here. Deft still thinking about that Twitch, and he was hovering the Talon, man, and it just gets me.
I love Deft's Switch overall.
It's fantastic.
See, because EDG have this tendency to play well with Fog of War and then using Pink Witch to their advantage. And a Twitch to
Amazing J.
So many plays possible. We'll see if it comes out though.
So it's either Amazing J pulling a Huni and counterpicking himself as Yasuo versus Darius up at the top lane, or we're going to see the top lane Echo come out, and this is going to be an interesting one. I mean, Echo has plenty of tools to outplay what Darius does, right? A targeted blink that puts you guaranteed on top of your opponent, so you can outplay the Q, you can always ult, outplay the Darius ulti, things like that. So AB Echo, I do like seeing, and we'll see if that's what comes out here from Amazing J.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. One thing that I want to see out of the Bangkok Titans is just to put the Darius on G4. I just wouldn't. I don't want to see G4 playing a champion that isn't an assassin type player, type champion, something that can't run around and just kill people. And Lulu isn't that champion, but Darius, theoretically.
A lot of these top lane champions with small gap closers operate decently in mid lane since it's such a short lane and you can still gap close out. Darius has none whatsoever. He's incredibly slow. If he gets slowed down once in a million, especially 2v1, it's incredibly hard to get out of those fights. So, you know, G4 playing it, while it may look funny or look fun, it can backfire incredibly hard.
All right, well, Bangkok Titans essentially picking the League of Legends version of a 6-pool here. You can Whimsy a Rengar and try to start things out as fast as possible. I mean, this is very early game, very rush focused. You still have Jinx for cleanup at the very end, but they're going to bash their heads into the opposing team at record speeds.
They certainly are. EDG now trying to work out what they want to play in the AD carry position. Lucian could be an option here, but I do like what the Bangkok Titans are bringing to Summoner's Rift. Right?
All right, looks like, is that, I believe, the first Lucian of Worlds? I don't remember if we got him played earlier.
I believe we...
That makes me a bad fact checker. I know we've had another Rengar already, so nothing too new for the Bangkok Titans.
I mean, Mountain didn't even show up that game. He won gank and he stopped playing.
Yeah, he did get a first blood right away. But either way, the comms are locked in here. Bangkok Titans playing something a little bit different, very aggressive, off engaging with their Rengar. And as you wanted, Moss finally got that Thresh. So the playmaking is here, but Edward Gaming have a lot of very good laners and just a lot of damage to his composition with 2 tanks in front.
Yeah, so much damage. I also really love the duo lane of Lucian Braum. The fact that you can prop your passive so easily with the Light Slinger.
We just double-checked. It is the first Lucian, in fact.
Yeah. All right. First Lucian comes in. Def, the one to bring it out here at the World Championship. Edward Gaming, just hoping to not get spoiled here. We heard H2K talk about this last time as well. They're looking forward to their matchup against Edward Gaming as well. And they said, yeah, let's just not screw up against BKT. They closed the game out pretty well. Edward Gaming against these guys last week had a 20-minute surrender force. They had like a 17-minute inhibitor kill. EDG. Now, Krepo, you said you wanted to see them play a very slow and intelligent and measured game to prove they could do it. We'll see which Edward Gaming shows up here. You guys at home, as always, please be part of this on Twitter. Tweet at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag BKTWin or the hashtag EDGWin and let us know how this one's going to go. Popular opinion is probably Edward Gaming here, but this is the World Championship of upsets.
Yeah, we are about to hop onto Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. There's Edward Gaming looking to try and pick up another victory after what was a difficult defeat against SKT. And the Bangkok Titans looking to try and grab some revenge from every other game here at Worlds. And can they do it? 007X on the angry kitty in the jungle. Warlock did eventually play Darius in the top lane. I didn't get my wish. I'm excited to see how G4 plays on the Lulu as well, whether he still has such an aggressive playstyle.
The Titans here again with a draft with a clear identity. You know, making picks with Rengar to open up the fights. Aggressive play from Warlock and then backing up G4 just to make Lloyd into a hyper carry. So you want these guys to go aggressive in the fights to free up the space for Lloyd and get the resets. If they get ahead somehow against Edward Gaming, EDG's lack of wave clear could get really rough here.
Most certainly could. We do have a bit of a defensive setup here for the Bangkok Titans thus far as Mako actually lands the Winter's Bite. Deft seeing whether he can get in amongst it. One more auto attack. Deft is trying to find Lloyd. They get into the box. The flash, but the sun comes down. Are they going to be able to do it? Oh my goodness. I felt if Deft had to walk forward, they may have had a chance, but no. Backs away. Doesn't want to give too much up.
Lloyd actually flashed the wrong direction. He flashed into range of Deft's auto attack, thinking nothing was going to hit him. Lucian has low movement speed. Mako's Q is still down for 2 more seconds. Either walk in a straight line or flash in a straight line and you're safe there. Lloyd nearly giving away a kill he didn't need to, and that is a bad omen.
I'm really surprised that Mako didn't blow the Ignite and go for the kill there.
Actually,
Level 1 Ignite,
even through the Ignite, heal basically cancels out Ignite. It'd be a trade of Summoners, which, by the way, is okay, actually. I would probably do that as a support, but Lloyd would have
gets countered by the potion at level 1, doesn't it?
Close enough.
You can debate
Ignite
whether it was
potion.
worth it or not. Flash burn is enough. If they connect the stun anyways, at any point, they can still counteract the heal later on. Just a lot of aggression now potentially possible here from Deft and Mako, because in that matchup, we'll end up being 2v2 in the top lane. Again, this now opens up the possibility for Mako to Q-Flash aggressively. Braum can Q-Flash auto to provide 2 stacks. In synergy with Deft on level 2, another gunslinger shot that's instant stun, pretty much, if they talk about it and communicate well. Lloyd without the flash, if this happens pre-Lantern, could be big. So we need to see some passive play from Lloyd and Moss up until the point where Thresh gets Lantern.
This is interesting as well. The Bangkok Titans actively avoid this lane swap and actually lose some minions just to make sure that they're not caught in that awkward position one more time. Could be dangerous, and we'll see whether Deft is going to play the solution hyper-aggressively, like a lot of these Chinese AD carries do when they are playing this champion.
Well, level 2 from Lloyd and Moss. They did, I believe, get the Grot for themselves based on how quickly they leveled up here. But nothing earned for that one. Mako was roaming around, so he's actually late to the party.
They need to get level 3 as soon as they can on Moss, because getting a Gromp and an advantage is good if you have Flash to get out the initial jungle gank, but Clearleft could path to the top, just immediately punish Lloyd, and we've seen this before when teams trail ahead in experience and they win some trades and they get overconfident, they forget that they're actually a flash down, especially when Gragas can come around the corner, go over the wall, multiple gank opportunities here.
Right now, Lloyd actually burning a ton of mana trying to clear the wave and push into the turret, and that's actually, yeah, it will allow it to bounce back, but Jinx actually has pretty good use of mana if she can have it, but here we have Pawn and Clearlove looking to press in a G4.
Yeah, Clearlove was actually trying to read a flash there, I believe. Takes a lot of damage, though.
That last auto was not worth pulling in a turret right there. And Clearlove, I mean, he's going to recall soon enough for items, but that's damage you don't want to take.
Even though it looked incredibly silly there, like a higher level opponent may have actually flashed there, because if you respect Clearlove as a jungler, you respect the fact that he can body slam flash there, and you may preemptively want to flash there. So, cheeky little move from Clearlove, didn't get the flash out of it, but I think it was the correct play to make.
G4, not normally flashing away from people, generally likes to flash on top of them. It's going to be difficult this time around. Tornado doesn't land, but G4 definitely getting dictated to in this lane.
On playing so aggressively, and even has the wind shield back up there, so neither Rain nor Little Lance will do any damage to him here. On gets away.
And 007X does have a stun available to him, but not going to be able to find it just yet.
Well, in the bot lane, we see Amazing J push in. Mako cancels the hook here. Amazing J slightly ahead in tempo and just CS, 4 CS up. 007X trying to get into that melee matchup. No minions here for Pawn to dash out, so you'll actually have to dash over Rengar.
There's a chance you go right.
If he moves in, but I think the gank has already been telegraphed.
Yeah,
Pawn hasn't seen Rengar show up anywhere. Lloyd, G4 probably changes behavioral pattern. That's how you smell ganks. If somebody goes from super passive to suddenly moving forward into potential kill range, well, then you know you're getting ganked.
It was a worthwhile gank, though. Missed a cannon minion. Moss dodges the Winter's bite there. Deft going very aggressive. Flame Chomp's not going to find anyone. Piercing light over the top of Lloyd as well as EDG. Definitely putting the pressure on, but it was a decent trade back from Bangkok Titans.
Really well played by Deft. He just kept hitting Lloyd. He's going to out-trade very easily. Lucian early level against Jinx right there. Moss was still dealing with Mako here on Braum. And just, you're seeing sort of the little decisions you make as a high-level player. Deft knew Thresh had no more impact to have and just fought the Jinx and knew it would work.
Decent trade on both sides here. We see Amazing J slightly trailing ahead of that Darius pick. In the bot lane, seems that he'll probably likely use his gap closers to either get on top of Darius whenever he spins that axe, or dash away out of the damage, and that way comfortably try and slow him down and whittle away at him while he's trying to CS. Pawn gets... No, gets capped?
Shield.
He had a shield, so if you don't deal any damage...
It's weird because the mechanic changed at some point to where shields, even if a shield did block the damage, you could still recall out, but I don't know if it's certain shields or certain abilities. It doesn't work that way still, but I believe most shields will actually still stop your recall.
May have been that the damage just was so late and he was at the end of the animation that he still...
There's a chance that
it was a little earlier than that, but look.
Yeah, it's a 10th of a second window to just not stop recall, period, without a stun. I just don't remember the shield rules, unfortunately.
Well, one did go back, grab himself a Zeal, heading towards that static shiv. We'll see whether he goes for the Trinity Force as his second item. Does tend to be the option for the Chinese mid lanes.
He denied the cannon with the shield there.
Yeah.
He also goes so aggressively that they're not going to step in forward and potentially try to punish that play when Clearlove's lurking around. So if you go that hard aggressively, it may actually not give away your jungle gank because it looks just straight up dumb, but then they go in again. Clearlove's here.
Nice.
Oh, they're still able to get the stun there. The Ignite's ticking down. It is going to be enough first blood for Deft. Moss underneath the turret. They're not going to go for any dives. Deft wanders away. 200 health. Easily enough.
And this is the synergy between those passives from Lucian and Braum right there. Instant stun after the flash. Allows Clearlove to body slam flash. Finally get that kill. And you see G4 being aggressed upon by Pawn again.
Very aggressive Chipmunk there in the mid lane.
thing is, Moss played that so well, actually. He was already well towards the back. He's already ready to lantern him out. Even buffered the flay against Body Slam, but the flash got him in range just in time to make the stun land regardless.
I think the correct play there, and this is nitpicking, is Moss throwing a lantern and flashing himself. You can actually give your AD carry a flash. Hang on, G4.
Yeah, there's the last breath. The Wild Growth comes out though. Moss is here, able to give a shield at least. Uses the wind wall. Pawn just trying to get his way back, but look at the flame. Moss lines up the death sentence, flash out from Pawn.
Really nicely done, really nicely done. Flash loss for that one. Moby Boots first item as well to roam into that lane right away. Really nice play by Moss, and look at the push on in, G4! Oh, yes he did! 1-to-1 in kills. BKT looking much better than last week.
That was ridiculous. Moss there as well picks himself up the assist from previously, but that was all G4, knowing his damage potential, and that's not something that you'd expect from this assassin player playing Lulu in the mid lane.
Flash TP Lulu got the kill on Flash Ignite Yasuo. That doesn't happen very often.
He didn't even need the TP to get the kill.
Anything could be an assassin if you try hard enough. If you just believe.
Right. Well, I mean, look, if there's anyone
Atlas
that can do it as well.
Assassin, so I mean,
you haven't seen G4 play enough, I believe.
It's true. So a lane lead right now for G4. Now, Lulu is not a hard carry in itself, of course. You need your team to do something good for the rest of, you know, Lulu to do her job, but this game is equal in gold 9 minutes in. That is not something many would expect.
Yeah, some of the opportunities here is the fact that, you know, G4 managed to pick up that kill, doing decently here in lane, but to make up for the fact that Lloyd is now a pickaxe to a BF sword there in the top/bottom lane.
Yeah, and he's getting zoned too because he supported roam for a play. That costs you somewhere else on the map, and that exactly is an item mismatch we see here. Top laners, head-to-head.
Amazing J looking for the 1v1, but he's stacking that passive on top of himself as Warlock's able to get a few cheeky hits across. He's now falling behind.
Haven't seen 007X though. He's actually, Rengar's very farm-heavy jungler earlier. Mako poking to traps, decent poke. Shield's gonna deny that. Forces the ultimate there from Defto. And again, you see that damage differential there. Pickaxe into BF.
Yeah.
Very hard to play, especially into Illusion, because he just wants to position for Peace and Light consistently. And then all you need is one window where you misstep and you can actually get dashed on aggressively.
There's also the fact that he ate the full culling, which is probably not great.
It's impressive aim by Def. That's always hard to do, so I gotta give him some props there. Quick brush check by Lloyd. See, there's no Rengar as far as they, or not, sorry, no Grag as far as they can tell. 007X is going Cinderhulk Rengar, interestingly, so going to be a frontliner and less of an assassin with that build.
We need to see a play out of him, though. You can't afford to be 10 minutes into the game and have 0 ganks. No impact so far, and getting out jungle. That's the difference, though. Klulov's actually ahead of him still.
The thing is, off this Wolf Camp, I think he should be going. He should build up the 5 stacks, walk into Lulu's lane, get a Whimsy, and do a point-blank stun that's impossible to wind wall. He should get a kill on Pawn. You can see where the lane is being pushed right now. If G4 doesn't push up...
Pawn's playing with respect, though. He knows this is coming. Klulov's hovering around the lanes that are most likely to be ganked too. The one lane you really don't want to gank with Rengar is Echo, because he can just deny most of your initial burst with the ultimate. So Klulov's just trying to predict the Rengar gank right here, and EDG is playing with the necessary amount of respect for 007X. So if he reveals at any given point, we may see EDG turn on the aggression again.
I actually really like the fact that Moss was sort of hanging back towards his turret there as well, sort of trying to get a pseudo thing in there, but Klilov looking for a gank.
This is the second time he has sidestepped an explosive barrel from the Gragas. Every time Klilov comes into the lane, moving forward to juke that, predicting it, the cast time. Really solid player from G4. He's definitely feeling comfortable.
Playing absolutely very well right now. 6 CS up and really trying to push around Pawn. Unfortunately, these ganks still are not landing. And of course, this top lane so far behind. Mako can easily block all of Lloyd's damage. So this 2-on-2 is not a place you can go. You mentioned earlier, Echo's not one either. Though amazing, they did just burn his ulti to get back to lane off of a recall. So there is a window to gank this 1v1 in the bot lane.
Almost halfway off that cooldown though. Not exactly huge. Culling comes back up. Immediately used one more time as the bottom lane are going to soak that one up.
Yep, it's getting worse and worse. You've got a 16 CS lead. Now the stun in towards G4 is going to get just out.
Oh, G4
in time.
Dodges out of the way of the tornado there as well. That could have spelt his death, but G4, Wild Growth down. Amazing J paying of his...
G4 is nullifying a lot of these roams and plays from EDG, but BKT as a team are not cross-mapping at all. They're not getting any gains from the time invested from EDG in these plays, so they really need to start cross-mapping, making an opening, somehow get a gank. Lloyd and Moss still low on the tower due to the culling poke. We're going in.
That was the flash. Hits no one with the Glacial Fissure. 007X here in exactly the right position. Moss takes a lot of damage. 007X Still trying to get the work done. G4 is, of course, teleported all the way up here. Massive damage out as EDG. They want to try and re-engage, but they can't find the way in. Descends lands. Clearlove has to be so careful. Moss picks it up with the help of Pix.
And that's going to be it, though. This one looks like EDG are able to run away, but Bangkok Titans have a kill and a gold lead 12 minutes in over EDG.
Not to mention the fact that Warlock is just hanging out, killing creeps. Fawn's able to possibly get some damage in this mid lane, but Warlock's just being Darius right now.
And BKT, they're playing incredibly solid. They're aggressively dodging skill shots from EDG. They're showing they're not afraid. Sidestepping skill shot, Lantern out, hook on the jungler. So they're playing these fights almost better than EDG overall and coming out ahead, even though EDG are the one initiating these fights. Still, we need to see a gank here from 007X, especially since Pawn's flash was down earlier, but he hasn't been punished for that at all.
And G4 now completed the 40% cooldown reduction with those Lucidity boots and the Merlinomicon, so definitely online as far as that's concerned. Can be skipping himself a lot, but that being said, Pawn
knock up available.
Yep, can't land it just yet. There's Moss, might be in trouble now, forced to use the flash. Descent lands on a Mako, though, underneath the turret. Lloyd, no mana, taking so much damage. That was going to be enough.
Yeah, Bangkok Titans overstayed. They won that fight, but if you don't immediately base, you put yourself behind in the next 1 or 2 minutes. If you win a fight, the value from winning a fight comes after you base, because you're the first ones to base. You have general better position on the map because you can control your side lanes, your waves better, and then you have tempo. If you overstay too much, then you actually get punished again. That's what EDG did there. Deft and Mako came from base, they poked you out, and now suddenly EDG are trailing ahead of the play again.
But now the back's going to come through from Deft, able to push up that wave. So, well, he's going to miss out on a couple. On decent wind wall positioning there as he's going 1v2 at the moment, but we do have Amazing J making his way up. Is he going to get there in time, though? As there's a parallel convergence, 007X in a whole bunch of trouble. There's the last breath. Oh! The Descent lands on Mako at the same time as Warlock makes his way in. Apprehend pulls him back. G4 locks down another kill. 3-1 for the Bangkok Titans.
Could you believe the game is actually going this way? A 1,500 gold lead for Bangkok Titans. Pawn has to recall in the mid lane. I mean, this is the worlds of upset. This is unreal.
It looks so easy for Moss to walk in, throw Lantern, so you don't really give any credit to that play, but he has consistently been at the right place at the right time. His decision-making far superior to his mechanics, who are already fantastic in this game. Hasn't missed a crucial hook so far, but he's always at the right time with a Lantern. For me, that's even more impressive when I watch Thresh players. So those early Moby boots paying dividends so far for Moss.
Yeah,
perfect.
Now 2,000 gold ahead.
Who would have thought?
Perfect game from Moss. 100% kill participation, no deaths. Moby boots first, got his mid laner a kill right at level 6. This is a great performance so far from the Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, and a level 9 Jinx right now, this is where the Jinx-Lucian matchup starts getting incredibly hard for Deft because he's getting outranged, out-traded easily, not a word, but just a lot easier here for Lloyd. And if Moss connects a hook, we're approaching the time in the game where that could actually lead to a kill. Earlier, it was incredibly hard to one-shot, but BF pickaxe here with tier 2 boots, that's enough to really hook into traps, into flay and box, enough to blow anybody up almost in this game.
I actually like those items more than what Deft has as well. I mean, he's only 600 gold away from the Infinity Edge, yes, but doesn't have those Berserker's Greaves for the extra movement around. And Lloyd, he's sort of set up with this, I'm going to kill all of your turrets type build here in the early game.
I mean, Lucian's passive does want you to get more AD, more likely to crit, because you always get that double shot coming out, so it is debatable. If you crit, then the other build's better. If you don't crit, then obviously the Boots 2 would have been better.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah, it's
RNG.
Yep. I mean, expected value, it's fine. It's roughly equal here. We're going to see right now, though. Smart play by Lloyd. He had Zap to reveal that Mako was waiting in the brush. That went just fine. 007X, I believe, is still without using his ulti all game long, though. And once again, EDG trying to sneak Clearlove onto this side of the map.
Mid lane tower has fallen, so that means not only can Lulu push up for a lot better vision control, look at how many deep wards Bangkok Titans have in this game compared to the last game. Also, if Pawn ever overextend for pushing, he doesn't have a tower to defend himself in the back, so a lot more play opportunities presenting themselves for 007X. And EDG again here at the top lane. These ganks haven't worked so far. Can they work right now?
Nice.
Yeah,
gotta respect it.
Spot him out.
Every time BKT see it coming. And they're gonna get split up. Actually, hook close on the Deft! And there is a couple more champions. Deft goes down the 007X. He finally finds the R button on his keyboard. A double kill. It's 5-1 BKT.
Bangkok Titans, what a play. Fantastic hook from Moss here on Deft, and Clearlove ganking the same lane over and over again. Isn't it the definition of insanity, trying to do the same thing, expecting different results? Really good game reads here so far from Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, and EDG, they just got completely read from the get-go. Warlock was already there in that lane. They knew exactly what was going on. It's based on all of this deep vision, but it's also the fact that BKT just seem to have their number right now.
They do, absolutely. Quick history lesson for you guys. Flash Wolves are the only team in the history of the World Championship to lose a game to a wildcard team and still make quarterfinals. Right now, this is grim. Deft can't quite jump away in time. The Chomper is already there for the two-man route, and it's just easy.
Also, if you look at G4's positioning on the map, he doesn't really join this fight, but he's there quicker because he pushed in mid lane earlier. He's playing very heavy wave clear versus no wave clear on Pawn. Tower's dead in the mid lane. Again, map movement advantage if these fights ever go backwards. So really good reaction. We see another fight here. Deft.
Yeah, double teleports coming down. Deft actually has to use the flash and the relentless pursuit to get himself out. Dragon's still angry with him actually, as Bangkok Titans still yet to find too much. There's the first one. Lloyd picks up Amazing J. Pawn.
Lloyd
after him.
Lloyd!
Oh! Ability to get something down, but Clearlove takes the super mega death rocket. Deft is so dead. They do manage to get one back as Warlock finally dies, but
He's
Lloyd's
still
looking for it. Zap doesn't find it. But man, the Bangkok Titans, they're on a roll.
5,000 gold up, 18 minutes. This is a massive lead here. The Bangkok Titans poised in a really good spot.
And look at Warlock. He was able to survive so incredibly long in that fight, and this is before the point where he starts building tanky. He had the Black Cleaver finished, and you saw how much damage that did in the end of the fight. That's all he had to provide. In addition to the Giant's Belt that he had, he has now picked up a Chain Vest, a Null Magic Mantle, so he's combined with G4's Lulu, who's already trailing ahead. It is going to be nigh impossible for EDG to focus down Warlock, and that is essentially what we talked about earlier. Warlock will now provide the zone, aggressive damage for Lloyd to really freely move around his fights, get a reset, flash aggressively, and clean up the fight. Bangkok Titans are playing to the strengths of their composition, something they did not do last game. And Moss, again, it's almost easy.
This is here. I mean, this is a gold lead here. Perfect play right there. Moss gets done, but guess what? He's the tanky support. And look at what a position Warlock gets. A three-man pull. Deft is already leaving this fight. He hit half a culling at best right there. The dunk sets up the bleed stacks. Warlock just the perfect front line here for this team. And we go right back into another fight with Pod already underneath the Rengar, and a killing spree for 007X.
Pawn's just cat food right now.
And we see, finally, we get to see the value from Lulu combined with a Darius pick here overall, because if you can't burn him down immediately, he will get a triple Q off on you because everybody's standing so close to him trying to burn him down. Getting that wild growth on a triple target knockup just buys you so much time, allowing Warlock to straight up carry that fight because he just stayed alive. He didn't really have to do much, press Q, press R, but the team composition is really working in the Titans' favor.
And it's also not going to drop off. I mean, it's not like they've hit a mid-game power spike, something like that. This is Jinx Lulu.
Yeah.
They're going to only get stronger and stronger as this game goes on, not to mention Warlock on this Darius. It's very scary here for EDG.
And we've, of course, got the Zeke's Herald coming in soon for Moss here. So in terms of just playing his Siege composition and just being careful around not getting Wombo engaged on. Keep in mind, this is Yasuo Gragas Echo. The ability to get one shot is still real, so BKT have to respect Edward Gaming's team fight.
The thing is, if you look at Moss and the way he's played, he hasn't played a frontline Thresh at all. He's played a backline Thresh with really good positioning for Lanterns, and then he generally hooks on aggressors. He hasn't been hooking the guys in the back. He's been hooking frontline aggressors. That allows you to open up in a more utility-focused build with the Zeke's Herald. All he wants to do, or Zeke's Harbinger rather, he just wants to survive, get that to proc, and then Lloyd will reap the benefits from that item. But Moss, he's been playing fantastic so far on Thresh. 0 deaths is incredibly hard against this composition.
Pawn looking to try and clear out this mid wave. Of course, it's not over yet. Base not broken, anything like that. 6,000 gold, though, is the lead for the Bangkok Titans. Now they've got to show us that they can close out against one of the best teams here at Worlds, or theoretically one of the best teams here at Worlds.
I mean, these guys are the reigning mid-season invitational champions. They got the second seed out of the Chinese LPL. I mean, Edward Gaming are an amazingly good League of Legends team right here. Bangkok Titans.
He's baiting it. Pawn knows that there's a ward there. He only moves out alone, hoping to get a reaction here. 007X playing with the respect. This is what we see all the time. Fog of war. Vision denial. They know. This may be big.
This from Amazing J.
Able to get a double stun there. 007X jumps in, but EDG, they have the jump at the moment. Death, though, gets closed in on G4, trying to get him out of the fight. And you can see Warlock already in amongst it. He's gigantic. Massive heals. Death is dead already. Double Double kill now for Clearlove though on the back end. 007X solo EDG. This is the team fighting team we were expecting. They finally showed up, and that's the ace.
The ace off of reading the invade. The setup was perfect. The damage was all there. Lloyd died at the very start. He was flashless. Even though Pond did not get a great ulti off, it didn't matter. That all went according to plan.
The setup, that was one of the most beautifully set up fights I've seen in the entirety of Worlds. Using that pink ward, sitting in that brush, you see somebody place a ward, well, one of you moves out and then backs out, not even into the brush, but passively. You act as if you're scared, and you just camp there so long, because eventually people have to guess, and then the beautiful opening there. Let's watch that again. This control here, they see people move into the brush, so they have all the information. Parallel conversions comes down, Amazing goes in, and 007X thinks he has an opening here, but Lloyd gets immediately blown up.
But it's a miracle that he rooted Pond, because that was a perfect Dragon's ulti that would have set up the best last breath of Worlds. So they got that brief rest, but here, but the problem is his whole team is out of position. No one's going to be able to do what they want in time. Okay, Deft goes down, but it's way too late. There's a bunch of threats on this team comp. Yasuo was able to hit whomever he wanted the whole time without dying, and it was a great setup.
And this is not the first time we've seen EDG do this. When they faced off against IG, they were falling behind about 2,000 gold. They had no vision control on the map at all, but they pink ward one area, camped there with 5, and that was Clearlove actually flashed over a wall to Skarner ulti, and they used everything to just make one pick and get the map back. Again, these clutch plays with vision denial is something that EDG can use to get back into this game.
Well, Clearlove now 4-1-3 on this. Gragas 100% kill participation, hasn't been dying too much either in comparison to his teammates, and that's a Frozen Heart now completed against the Jinx. That's very important.
And in terms of getting the map back, we actually had EDG able to put 2 deep wards down on the bottom side of the map in the recent past. There's only one left here, but EDG trying to set up for this Dragon. Bangkok Titans already got the first, spawns again in 35 seconds. EDG, I feel like we're in a position where they could fight for this and try to make a play. 30 seconds means Deft has to recall or walk away now. He's going to do that here.
More importantly, they take back control of their red jungle, which is the access point to Baron Vision from behind, which slows down the rotations from top to mid from Bangkok Titans as well. No longer can Warlock pass straight to that jungle with no fear of getting gibbed. He has to walk all the way around, and that slows your tempo down so much that EDG can start moving out the vision to the next step.
And you can see EDG have actually changed everything of what they're trying to do here as well. I mean, you can see their defensive vision so much more deliberate now. It seems like they've sort of woken up and gone, okay, Bangkok Titans, they are here to play. We're going to have to give them our A-game if we're going to win this one.
Don't forget, though, last fight, Lloyd got instantly popped in that fight. He wasn't at the back. He didn't have the offensive zone that Warlock brings or 007X. Look for his positioning, and when he turns gold, look at his damage. That's when Zeke procs for 8 seconds. He will have 50% additional crit.
Now I want to see how these people move their resources. Warlock right now has teleport, is pushing the top lane, and he's going to pressure that tier 2 turret pretty soon. But because of that, EDG with 5, they battering ram into the jungle. They take things over. They get a couple of wards down. Bangkok Titans have to play defensive here. They have to run away. EDG have all 5. 007 pops ulti, but there's no teleport coming in. They can't possibly engage a 4v5. A waste of an ultimate.
Yeah, not going to go in on the thrill of the hunt. They did have the wild growth, so they could have gotten something happening, but G4 is eating Winter's bites. EDG is going to force the Dragon.
They've got to respect Clearlove, though. He's got a perfect 3-minute ulti right here if he wants it. There's one. He catches Moss. Luluwil comes across. There's the engage, but Darius is not joining the team. It's a 5v4. Edward Gaming chasing down. They've picked up one already. Lloyd might be next. He's trying. It's already 3 kills picked up as BKT do not choose the right kind of fight. They give away a bunch of kills. They give away the map control. Here's the 4th kill, and it's all just for a top lane turret.
I'm incredibly flabbergasted with what just went down. The entire way of Bangkok Titans winning these fights is sending in Warlock first, allowing him to soak up damage and putting EDG in a lose-lose situation. How do you hit the Darius and he hits you back and Jinx kills you, or you ignore him and he'll kill you anyways? That is the way for BKT to win his fights. And then they contest the second Dragon for absolutely no reason here. 4v5, no teleport. This is a major game-influencing mistake.
I actually have no idea how they thought that that was the right decision to make there. Of course, fighting 4v5, yes, might have just been more excited about the fact that the early game went so well than they should have.
I mean, this is why this team is 0-4 in the group right now. Even though they have some good players and make some good choices, this 4v5 makes no sense at all. So
they placed the ward, but I don't think that Warlock saw where the ward was placed, and it was too late, so he didn't feel comfortable teleporting in there. He could have also teleported on the Lantern, which should be re-enabled, so I think it is just poor communication overall that Warlock didn't find a teleport opportunity. He glanced over, doesn't see a ward, continues to split push. doesn't realize the ward is placed. By the time he realizes where it is,
the turret too late.
it takes 4 seconds to get there. If you don't have communication on where your access point is going to be in these fights, well, then you're going to lose them. So this is probably just likely a very large communication error in terms of where do I actually TP.
Yeah.
But if we have a look at it, still item advantage for Lloyd at the moment, racing towards that last Whisper with Deft, who doesn't quite have the longsword of it just yet, but probably can go back and grab it relatively soon. EDG now looking to push up this mid lane, possibly grab an inner turret. But now you can see that gold difference is back in favor of EDG.
And I don't see EDG giving this game up. The fact they made a comeback of over 5,000 gold at 20 minutes and are now in the lead already. It took them 6 minutes to do that. This is going to be hard to give up.
Same token though, Warlock, having him in these fights compared to not is the biggest difference. G4.
Parallel Convergence doesn't actually find any stuns there as the culling comes across everyone, but you can
Lloyd.
see lots of extra damage. Lloyd untouched on the backline. Deft does take down double.
Oh no!
That last breath was fantastic as Lloyd's going to get obliterated. Warlock now says, where's my team gone, guys? He's going to fall down, spinning around there in the river. EDG, team fighting still so beautiful. Ardent Blaze, not quite enough, but Deft will just shoot him in the face.
Yeah, the base damage is just not enough on Warlock right there, and Lloyd doing perfect AoE rockets up until the point where he got pounded.
Oh.
Oh man, the self-set-up Yasuo ult though. We've had to take his licks for a while, but charged up his own tornado, tossed it through the back line. The one-man ult on Lloyd to save it until he could catch Jinx. That was big. That was the fight. That's going to be Baron as well. Edward Gaming now sizably ahead. 4,000 gold up, and they're only going to get more.
Yeah, now go back, pick up some more items. Last Whisper, leader for both AD carries. But let's have a look at this one again.
Yeah, so initially aggression here again. This is BKT not warding their flanks and they're bunching up initially. This is already a problem for them that Warlock's not in a good position. He can't peel right now. Moss is out of the fight. And he can't really save G4 here with a lantern. G4 not adding much more to the fight. And AoE rockets from Lloyd, just not enough. Windwall blocks one rocket there too. And then he walks into the Yasuo Q and gets ulted. So Zeke's didn't really get procced on Lloyd at all. And that's what you need. You need Zeke's AoE rockets for 90% crit to really win that fight. And the time it took for him to charge up, the remaining parts of the lineups were already slaughtered here by EDG just stockpiling on top of them.
Yeah, another 1,300 golden pawn will have that Infinity Edge as well. For the 100% crit, sort of those core items of the Trinity Force static shift, IE, and this Yasuo will be doing even more than he already is.
Oh man.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And G4, he does have the Ravenous Death Cap, so it's 3-item Lulu. Still able to do some work, but wants to be augmenting Lloyd, wants to be adding picks to that damage, wants to make Warlock the most gigantic Darius ever. But here's the fight. Vaughn gonna get flayed back in. Moss gonna get knocked up. No last breath to come out just yet as Warlock trying to close the gap. But EDG just say, okay, we'll just wait.
Windwall blocked too much of the damage during all the CC. There was no damage coming out of Lloyd. Root lands at a clear low, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Warlock.
That knock up on 007X mid-ultimate so he couldn't engage.
Amazing J's not even here. This was a 4v5 here. Just EDG now finally outclassing their counterparts individually. It does help that you have a Baron buff to make that to use.
Already up with the inhibitor wall though. You can see that turret taking plenty of damage there. And it will see Amazing J walk away, but bot lane tier 2 is already dead. Edward Gaming up 7,000 gold now. They win this game. They will be sitting on 3 wins. And it will require H2K to beat them to have a chance at losing their spot at quarterfinals right now. EDG looking good.
Yeah, Def can head back to base now, pick up possibly towards... Either that QSS might be going towards the Bloodthirster though, just more damage as G4 clears out the bottom lane. Still haven't lost any inhibitors just yet on the side of the Bangkok Titans. And they're behind 6,000 gold. It just seems like the team fights that once were going fantastically for this Southeast Asian team, just not quite finding their footing at this point in the game.
Yeah, Windwall with some good Windwall placement from Pawn just completely just deny Lloyd's damage up. It doesn't matter how much crit and how much damage he has overall if he just can't land the projectiles necessary. So we'll need some better positioning here from the Titans or make a pick on Pawn. That is generally their opening. Kill Pawn, then kill the rest.
One dancing around the mid lane now as well.
007X though hasn't found too many picks with that Rengar in recent history, unfortunately. Of course, lack of a gold lead makes that easier. Dragon number 2 for Edward Gaming, not going to be a problem. But the Def's second secure of a neutral objective and as many attempts.
Yeah, throwing so many things at Warlock at the moment. Doesn't take too much damage from it. Crimson Brambleback is going to spawn. As Def throwing out another culling. Seems like as soon as that button's available, he presses it. Amazing J going to get caught by the hook from Moss, but Red Buff going to fall down.
Yeah, Titans quickly realizing they can't fight in choke points. Not against this lineup from EDG.
Especially not with that close pusher available as well from Mako. But EDG now setting up a siege. Parallel convergence fantastic at that situation. 007X does jump in. There's the apprehend back. Massive damage coming down. G4 uses the Zonyas. EDG actually causing a lot of damage here in the backline. G4 still alive. Lloyd takes down Mako. Pawn tries to find his way into the backline. It's a double kill already. Eventually falls, but Warlock, he's still hit. Death finishes him off. Lloyd now against the wall. Does get the last crit, but EDG come out ahead 3 for 5.
Clear 11 Amazing J make the plays they need to in the front line. There's actually a good flash by Lloyd to dodge a body slam flash by Clearlove, but it's simply too many threats. Amazing J, even after Pond died, was still able to wreak havoc by enough time. EDG will get at least the inhibitor. They'll back after that one, but it still furthers the gold lead.
Yeah, pings towards the bottom side, want to clear out that minion wave. Make sure that they can move everything up and put all the pressure down on the Bangkok Titans. And after a little bit of time, I mean, they would have started pushing back. EDG would have had to rethink, but did find the team fight they were looking for in the siege moment.
Watch that again here. Clearlove gets engaged on. Want to keep your eyes on later on in the fight where G4 now uses his Zonias. He actually does a really good polymorph there on Pawn when he dashes in. Ends up jumping in the end of Lloyd. I think he wastes his ulti here. One auto attack would have done the same. Yeah. Could have changed a lot in the later stages of this fight. But again, we see Warlock finally soaking up damage, almost getting Def down there. Just gets a couple of bit of a lifesteal. But that soaking, that spacing for Lloyd is exactly what they need to do. Sadly, now they are behind. But when Bangkok Titans play to their strengths, play the fight out well spaced, they can win it. Sadly enough, a couple of times in a row, they did not do that.
And Lloyd's positioning in that teamfight, his ability to dodge out of the way of all of those abilities towards the end there was unbelievable. Just not quite enough this part of the game. 9,000 gold the lead. Amazing J trying to run away from everyone. Parallel convergence comes in.
And this is where you wonder, is tank Rengar the way you're going for? If it was DPS Rengar, Def could get one shot at any given Derek's gauge, you know? Yeah, but it requires you to at least tank at the start of the fight. So for people that don't know, Start Gauge only gets really online after you've taken damage. That's when Rengar already gets kited. Yeah. Once he does his jump, then he can take damage, but he's being kited. If you went full on kamikaze kind of Rengar, you can take out solo queue Rengar. Yeah, you can take out the enemy AD carry and suddenly, or Pawn for that matter, and then kind of shifts the spectrum.
It just feels like all the Rengar games we've seen so far at Worlds have looked like players who just aren't that familiar with Rengar. Yep. You know, not finding ganks nearly as often, not landing the ultimates, and well, EDG capitalizing off of the biggest comeback we may have had all Worlds long. Wind Wall burn though, maybe they go win. 007 has the upgraded E. He can land the root. All
right, the value of these spells like Unbreakable and Wind Wall go up dramatically as more items are purchased, so look for these team fights for EDG to back off once Wind Wall is down, and BKT to look for engages, hardcore engages after Wind Wall is on cooldown, because that's the moment where Lloyd can unleash, get instantly the Zeke's proc 2 and start cleaning up these fights.
And the thing that's really interesting about EDG's comp as well is the fact that they siege incredibly well with one of the shortest range AD carries because they have the parallel convergence, the Wind Wall, the Unbreakable, so many opportunities to get these players off the turret. Haven't been able to utilize it quite so much just yet. Don't want to take too many risks because they understand. I mean, the early game went horribly. They cannot give Bangkok Titans any legroom to get back into this game.
And you gotta imagine it gives a bit of hope to H2K here, seeing that EDG can bleed. If BKT can do it, H2K can do it too.
EDG leaving some really good aggressive deep warp to spot 007X.
Whoa. A bit aggressive, his team is around behind him. The knockout comes through on only one. A lot of ultis burned for not much. TP's coming in from both top laners. The battle's begun, and they've gotten Lloyd. Down he goes. That's not a good sign for the Bangkok Titans. This could be the game-winning push. 007X forced to run away. Warlock flashes the wall as well. G4 certain to die. A double kill for Clearlove, who has finally stepped up here in this game. Warlock takes a lantern. He'll be okay, but a 2 for nothing. An inhibitor already dead, and the base available.
Yeah, could potentially be the base, if not a couple more inhibitors here, and was played fantastically. The fact that Def was positioning himself outside of any opportunity to get hooked that fight was untouched, and EDG, they're just going to face tank these turrets. Warlock tries to get in amongst it, dribbling towards the enemy team, apprehending a couple of them, but the Nexus now exposed. EDG, after a comeback from 6,000 gold, picked themselves up a victory, but the Bangkok Titans, that was a much better performance than we were expecting heading into that game.
But for how well they played in the early to mid game, it was almost the opposite at the end. When you have a Rengar this late in the game, what you really want to do, especially with Lulu and your team, is find a place on the map where you're likely not to be warded. Ulti, get sped up by the Whimsy, and then just find an opening, force a fight. If you're tank Rengar, all your job is to do is to soak enemy cooldowns. It feels like 7X was getting frustrated by constantly being spotted out. He just stormed in for no reason whatsoever. Didn't even ulti in full vision. You can't afford to make those plays. Not against a team that is usually as coordinated as EDG. They weren't in the early game, but well, they got everything together.
And got a hold of the game. Lloyd getting picked out as well. I mean, straight off the back end of that team fight, immediately Tornado finds him something.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you have Gragas ultis and Tornadoes and whatnot, it's pretty much impossible to dodge them all forever. Flash is only a 5-minute cooldown. I thought Lloyd played about as well as he could, considering he was the obvious focus once it got down into team fights. It was two big situations that broke the game apart. It was the top lane sort of, the top lane, like, rush in the jungle where they had a pink ward on the brush, but the reward seeing BKT come in, and Edward Gaming had the beautiful setup with the Echo W. And then it was the Dragon fight where BKT made one of the worst calls we've seen all worlds, choosing to 4v5 in front of Dragon instead of giving it up and getting the turret for free or actually committing for the battle. They kind of chose neither, and that went really badly for them.
Yeah, it just was no communication there at all on Warlock. That War did get
the entire as well.
The entire reason Moss got caught in that fight is because he stepped forward to place a ward that would allow Warlock to come in from the back flank with Darius, which is a beautiful opportunity. Didn't quite get that down. Then he stepped backwards, threw his lantern in, says, "Okay, don't want to teleport a ward. Teleport on the lantern. Maybe that works." But Warlock was probably likely calling there, "Yeah, guys, I'm just going to split push, disengage." But you can't disengage against a Warlock lineup with this many gap closers.
They could have left much sooner.
They could have, but they stayed around because they would probably assumed Warlock was coming. So big